Okay, we're here live for part 2 of Mindset Monday with Angel Rebo, coach of over 1,500 CEOs, host on Mondalia TV with over 900,000 subscribers now. You say 925,000 now?
Exactly.
Right. Are you paying people to join?
No.
Man, so Mondalia
No, they just love what we do.
On YouTube, right? Talking about human potential. Is that right?
Absolutely.
So on part 1, we were talking about children and genius and getting a really good mindset, but also what we can learn from children. And so Angel is...
Can I stop you for a moment, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to disclose something secret from Jeff. Okay, it's very secret. The only reason why he stopped the video today and he cut it in 2 is because as a good filmmaker, he loves part 2. You know, that's why he did it. That's the only reason. Okay,
right.
So he wanted you to see that he's able to not only make movies, but also to make part 2 movies. Okay, but please carry on with the question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So think of Kill Bill part 1, not part 2, because part 2 is boring. So we're going to change things up. We're going to make part 2 even more exciting. We're going to cut out the boring thing with Bill and the girl and everything. And it's just be exciting chop-socky and samurai sword fighting.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how we're going to incorporate that into an interview, but we are. But
it's always possible.
So anyway, so part 2, the child's mindset in genius. What I wanted to mention is that Angel is the founder of Wisdom for Kids. You can go check that out on wisdomforkids.today. But their focus, their mission is to empower children in Latin America out of poverty through teaching them entrepreneurship. And so one of the things that we were talking about, of course we're talking about tapping into your genius, and this is what I want to pose, and I'll just ask you again with it, Angel. It just seems like the great thing about kids, and this is what I want to be in, that actually tap into your genius membership site and course, is how can we kind of get back into the mindset that children have? Because what I see, and partly to answer my own question, but this is, I find is that they have this incessant curiosity about everything. And I think that in the world as we become adults, it kind of just gets pushed down and shoved down. You can't think that, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that. But geniuses and children just have this natural, beautiful curiosity. And so how can we change our mindset and return back to that period of time?
Well,
and maybe make it a regular lifestyle choice.
Well, it's very easy to say and it's difficult to do, but it's surrendering. It's surrendering.
Yeah.
It's not taking things personal. It's not being judgmental. It's just allowing everything that we feel that is hurting us, or that we want to make a judgment about it, or we want to make a comment. Do you realize that when you start listening to anybody any day, you always want to say something about it, and we never keep silence and just take it in? Mm-hmm. Most of the time we have to say something. So I definitely think that the first thing you have to say to go back to that natural curiosity is basically just to surrender, just to let things go. Don't be judgmental. Really be proactively listening to and paying attention to what happens around you. And that's called, being present, being in the present moment, and being aware of what's happening right now, in this very moment, which is the only thing that you can really control. You can't change your past. You can influence your future, but you can only influence it from here. That's the only place. That's the only place where you have the power to do something.
Well, this is related. When we talked, even a couple months ago, we talked about following our intuition. From a Christian background, I'm following the Holy Spirit, whatever the leading. But it seems like that when we do that we become more present. We don't get upset like if we didn't have enough battery power, or upset the mic was left on, and perhaps you're worried it doesn't have power. You don't worry about it. You go with the flow because maybe it was meant to be. And that somehow it seems like when we surrender, when we feel like God or greater force is looking out for us, that we go with the flow. What do you think about that mindset? And if you really like it, which I think you do, how do we get into that kind of mindset where we can go with the flow and enjoy ourselves a lot more and be more productive perhaps?
I like silence. My mom used to say, I don't know if that translates properly into English, but she used to say, silence is the stronghold of the brave. Does it translate properly?
Why is it of the brave?
Of the brave, because you have to be brave to be silent. You have to be brave. Imagine, just do this exercise, really. Just do this. Let's say for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be in silence, but I am still surrounded by people that expect me to talk to them. You know what I mean? We are, let's say, in the coffee machine. We are at the gym. We are whatever it is with other people. Make the effort to stay silent. It's going to be really difficult to do that. But as you do that, you will start to identify and to perceive things that you typically don't perceive. Just do this. Just do this once. Just stay in silence, listen, as opposed to be ready to respond. Be ready to tell your opinion about something. That's killing us all the time. You know, really. You know, and that's one of the things that kids have naturally. You know, actually, I was just talking to a couple of teachers yesterday from one of the places where we went to help kids, and they were saying the number one thing that we teach the kids and we give the kids, the number one thing that we give them because they need it, is love, and you know, a love from a place of non-judgment, no judgment, and from a place of peace and calm. For them, being in silence with those kids is a moment of joy, and they were telling me that. They were telling me a very sad story that I want to share with you, if you don't mind, about those kids. I was talking to this particular volunteer and teacher that we have in that area, and she teaches in a school which is like an evening school. Okay, so the kids that go to that school obviously are underprivileged, and they go there from 1 p.m. till 6:30, 7 p.m. because their mothers, almost all of them, are kids of single mothers in that village. Okay, so when they get to that place at 1, they have been the entire morning at home by themselves, if they're lucky with some siblings, watching TV. If the family is lucky enough to have a TV set, but that's the number one thing that the family, the mom, would buy, a TV set, so that the kids get distracted throughout the day.
Occupied and stuff.
You know, so that's why it's so powerful and so necessary that when they go to school, actually these kids look for love. They haven't been loved during the morning. They haven't been loved. And you will ask me, because I asked her, what do they do if they don't have money enough at home to have a TV? They're just at home doing nothing because they don't have money to buy anything. They don't have books, they don't have toys. They just stay there. You know, can you imagine, you know, how important it is for us to be able to give them hope, to tell them that there's many other things that they can do with their lives, that when they go to the forest, they can look, you know, they can look for like seeds, they can look for fruits, they can look for stones, they can look for meteorites, anything that they can make a business out of.
They could potentially sell, make a business out of.
Exactly.
Right. So I guess that one way that you can help to change their mindset and not to feel hopeless is by teaching them entrepreneurship, that perhaps there's opportunity all around them.
You can change their mindset, inspiring them and loving them. That's number one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Again, I think that they don't have someone at home to help them consistently. Another interesting question, because mindset is about what you put in your mind every day, so you eventually have a mind set for something. Those kids don't do their homeworks.
They don't do their homework.
They do not. Their homework, excuse me.
Yes.
They don't do their homework. Do you know why?
Why?
Because their parents have to choose between working or doing the homework with them. When they get home with their parents at night, and many times it's not even the parents who pick them up from the school at 7. When they go home, the mom has to cook, has to clean, has to sew, has to do all the different things that moms do at home.
Right.
You know, so the following morning, teachers ask them, why your kids didn't do their homework? And they always say, I had to pick. It's either be the entire evening, you know, maybe finish working and then go back home and then cook for the kids and then get them ready for the next day,
Right.
than helping them with their homework. So again, what kind of mindset do these kids have? Well, definitely they have a mindset of scarcity. That's why it's so important what we do. That's why it's so important that we tell them that regardless of their environment, they are wise. We call them niños sabios. We call them wise. It has a different translation as to the term of being a wise kid here, right? That's why we call it.
That all kids have.
Exactly, all the wisdom that all the kids have. Exactly. So I think that we have a lot of opportunities to change the mindset of those kids. I think that we have to learn a lot from the way that we see their mindset. I think that we have to listen to our own kids, even here, even if they're not underprivileged.
Right.
Because, again, they are here, and we are here with them to empower them, not to try to put all those limiting beliefs that we carry with us into them.
Sure.
And let me tell you another story. And when we started with Wisdom for Kids, we launched it last year, but we were 2 years in preparing it. There's 5 more chances for a kid that is orphan, 5 more times chances to be successful for a kid who doesn't have a father or a mother or a tutor than some kid that is consistently with their parents at home. And you would ask why?
Yeah.
Because of the continuous reinforcement that we parents do or make or have on our kids of you cannot do that, you cannot do that. So obviously the orphans need love much more than anybody else, but at the same time, their mind is more free. It's not.
You're saying that in some of these Latin American countries that you've been to, that those orphans there are sometimes have a better mindset than those who are at home?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. And actually, there's a statistics. Even UNICEF. I've read a report by UNICEF that says that.
Wow.
Really, it's amazing. It's just a matter of statistics, right? I mean,
yeah.
People coming from a particular area, people that were continuously, receiving the reinforcement. I'm not saying that all the parents reinforce bad limiting beliefs to their kids. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that statistically, it's been proven that we as parents, unfortunately, one of our flaws is to teach our kids all those limiting beliefs that we carry with us. And that's why it's so important to be aware and mindful of those.
I think it's important for us to be aware of how we think, but how we're influencing our children, and thinking ways, how can we empower them? I mean, what if we were to encourage them each day to get into science or the arts or music or whatever it might be on a regular basis? What could happen to a person's life? And I think it's also important for us to question our own limiting beliefs. What are we believing that's keeping us from what we're doing? And maybe an extra motivator can be how I'm thinking is affecting my child. I've got to change, if not for me, for the sake of my child,
Yeah. The other day someone asked me, what would be the number one advice that you would give one of your CEOs if he wanted to have like a life-changing experience and really learn and go to the origins of his potential and of his genius.
Yeah.
And my question was, get yourself some kids. Get yourself, someone that you love and raise some kids. Really. As you know, I mean, I really think kids choose us. I really think that our kids, our sons and daughters, choose us. And I think that we have them to learn. We really have them to learn. We think that they are there to learn from us. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. Honestly, I think my experience has been, that's why I recommend it. My experience has been, they are there to teach us. It doesn't mean that we have to spoil them and allow them to do everything. No. We have to empower them, but we have much more to learn from them, really, than what we think.
Right. I also wanted to relate a small story as best I can state it. But our friend Oliver Schlaffer, the renowned cellist, is a friend of ours, and he was recounting to me when we were together just that when Einstein was a child, he was fascinated by the pointing of the needle on a compass, and that fascination lasted throughout his entire life. Even on his deathbed, he was still trying to figure out exactly how those forces were making that happen. But I also remember that until the age of 4 or so, Einstein was considered, they would wonder if he was just stupid, an idiot, because he could not speak or was not speaking. And so I think that fascination is a great lesson to take in terms of mindset, and let's pursue those dreams that we've had in our hearts for a very long time, because they're there for a reason. I think they come from God. I think we have certain gifts and that we should pursue them. But also, I think that often we have people in the world telling us that we're not smart or we're stupid or we're not capable, and we begin to believe that crap. And I think that in our hearts, though, we see glimpses of like, wow, I can do that. And other people can't do that so easily. And so, I think it's really important that we begin to challenge those beliefs that were taught to us at a young age and really tap into, I think the gifts that we're given at a young age and really work to become who I think God wants us to be.
Let me tell you another example, which is of someone who is actually alive, and just last Friday, he was on a live broadcast on Facebook. He's a motivational speaker, friend of ours, which is Les Brown, and he was explaining the story that when he was a kid, he's a sibling. I think he has a twin.
I think you're right.
And he was telling the story that he was considered the dumb twin.
Right.
He was considered the dumb twin. Yeah. Les Brown, hello. Les Brown, one of the top, I would say, 3 motivational speakers in the world. When he was a kid, he was, considered the dumbest of the twins. So, and how many thousands of lives has Les Brown changed? Every time he, just breathes and starts talking, he changes your state. He changes your mood. He changes everything. He has this power. His voice is powerful. He's become, someone that we are so used to see, and so that's another example of someone who's powerful and used to be told that.
Well, I remember his story. I remember it very well. So pardon me if I'm saying it not exactly right, but I watch these things on YouTube. All these amazing speakers all the time to learn each day, and what I think it was, I think he was going to give a speech and he was getting laughed at by the kids, and he ran off the stage, something like that, and he was ashamed of that. And then a teacher came up to him and told him how great he was. And then he got up and spoke a few weeks later after practicing, and he amazed the entire school. And I think that's a wonderful story. And and so that's, Angel, that's what my Tap Into Your Genius membership site and course is about, because it's dedicated to the idea that we have these gifts in us. That sometimes the world tells us we're not good enough or we can't do it, but yet we know in our hearts that we have these gifts, and we perhaps have never fully went out for them. And so what it's designed is how to show you step by step how to tap into the genius part of your brain, and that geniuses have done. And begin. Hello, Laura has joined us live. Thank you.
Hi, Laura.
Much. So pardon me. So you're able to tap into that genius part of your brain and really begin to achieve the dreams that you've had for many, many years. And that's what the site's dedicated to. And so actually this week and this week only, I'm opening it up, the beta. So it's still being developed as we go, but we've got some great things in there. So there'll be 5 distinct lessons, and first one is mindset, how to change your mindset, modules actually. Second is vision and purpose. Third is unleashing your imagination and creativity. And the fourth is brain science, how to maximize your brain's capacity from a biological perspective, how to create new neural pathways, all those types of things. And then finally, 5th module is prodigious productivity, how to apply all those principles, but also how to learn how to do that very effectively, but also in a meaningful way, not just being productive, but in a meaningful way towards your life's goals, your life's dreams. And that's what it's dedicated to. So I'm really looking for wonderful people out there who would love to become a founding member. You'll be able to get a discounted price. The deadline is September 1st. that will never be offered again. But we'll have wonderful experts like Angel involved. We'll be able to get personal coaching from him too, if you would like, at a special discount rate that he's giving only to those who are in the Tap Into Your Genius membership. And we'll have other different experts from around the world. And so you'll take that 5-week course and be able to make some amazing changes in your life. But each month we'll be bringing in new materials, new experts, people on the cutting edge of human potential and brain science. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I encourage you to tap the link on your screen and join. Will be the deadline is September 1st. We'd love to have you, our first 50 founding members. And so that's kind of like an exciting thing for me, Angel, is I've been planning this for quite some time, since April of sorts, really. And we met shortly thereafter, and we know the guy that I was learning how to do membership sites, Stu McLaren, and he's a very nice person, and he really teaches how to create very effective membership sites. And so this has been on my planning books for quite a while in developing this. And so I think you'll find some amazing challenges and lessons in there, and some great material from experts all over the world. So anyway, so now let's announce again your marathon that you have coming up for Wisdom for Kids. Okay?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so also, if you want to find out more about Angel's organization, where he helps to empower children living in poverty throughout Latin America through entrepreneurship, raising them up with a different mindset that empowers them to take their local resources and learn how to turn it into a business, giving them hope and helping them to raise their family out of poverty and help where they're growing up in their villages there. So you can go to wisdomforkids.today and give there if you'd like. But he's also doing a special marathon interview this Saturday if you yourself would like to participate. So Angel, can you tell us about the marathon?
Absolutely. So it's a marathon. It's not about running. The marathon is because I will be getting up at 3 a.m. on Saturday. At 3 a.m. I'm originally from Spain, from close to Barcelona, and at 4 a.m. I'll start with a Facebook live session. Okay, so a series of 10-minute live interviews starting at 4 a.m. on Saturday and finishing at midnight on Saturday. Okay, so I will be basically having 10-minute talks, so interviews, like, chit chat with people that want to share their story about kids, any story they have about kids, any story that they have about educating kids, any story that they have about their own kids, about someone else's kids, someone that is very or feels very sensitive, or has been teaching kids for a long time, or only for a few weeks. It doesn't matter. So it's going to be a forum. That's why I call it the marathon. Everybody is welcome to the marathon. Everybody.
Could it be amazing stories that maybe you've learned from children yourself? Have you been changed by children?
Absolutely. It can be anything.
Any way in which you blessed a child's life.
Absolutely.
It meant so much to you.
There's going to be just parents. Just people that have kids. And I asked them, would you mind sharing your story of how were you able to raise kids despite A, B, or C challenge? It can be really anything. That's why I call it a marathon. Everybody is invited. The only thing that you have to do if you want to join me on Saturday, again, it's going to be only 10 minutes of your time on Saturday, September 1st. Only 10 minutes of your day. The only thing that you have to do is you have to go to my Facebook page, okay, and you will see there that there's a fantastic link to my calendar. It's called, it's basically a calendar, Angel/marathon. You just go there, you click, and you pick your time slot for Saturday. That's so easy. And immediately you will receive an email with all the information that what you need to know, to be ready for the interview on Saturday. Very, very easy.
Okay, great. And I guess also you'll be playing the replays on your Facebook page.
I will be replaying. Yes. In all social media outlets, I have probably around, probably like 30,000-40,000 people. Mm-hmm. So I will be reposting everything in there. Absolutely all of the interviews. All of the interviews are going to be an inspiration, not only for us at Wisdom for Kids, but for everybody else, all our existing following, so that you know what having a kid is about. What are you sensitive? What is that experience? What is that testimonial that you want to bring to the table? We all have stories about kids. All of us. And you never know if that's going to change the life of another parent or another kid. because of listening to that conversation. And that's what we want to do on Saturday, just to have that marathon. And I'm really going to be working hard for the entire day, to be present and to be able to make the most of every single one of those 10-minute conversations. So you're very, very welcome to join me. Very easy, just go to that calendar, just click book, and I'll be there for you.
Right, and so you can also check out his organization at wisdomforkids.today, and we'll have links on the screen too if you're interested in hiring Angel as a consultant for your corporation. He can make a huge difference in mindset within your organization and help to really increase revenue. He's a really good guy, and I don't know what that is.
Excuse
That's
me.
a sign that I don't know what that means. We're back. It's Plan 9 from Outer Space. Ed Wood. That's what that is.
My mistake.
As a
Excuse me,
filmmaker, that's what I think of. Have you ever seen Plan 9 from Outer Space?
No, never.
You need to watch it. It's one of the greatest films ever made, and Tim Burton was a big fan of Ed Wood, and he made a whole movie about Plan 9 from Outer Space and the famous filmmaker Ed Wood.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You will have to send me a link to the movie on Amazon.
Like for $5,000 or $10,000, the guy would make a movie in the 1950s.
Okay.
And considered, I'm probably being sarcastic, considered maybe one of the worst movies of all time. But it's got to be good, doesn't it?
If you're talking about it,
if it's the best worst movie, there's got to be something he did right. Something that he did right.
absolutely. But you know what? You know what was coming to my mind right now?
Yeah.
I think that I wanted to reinforce one point that you made about your membership site and about the people that it's going to be working with you, and I'm blessed to be one of them. Besides all those 1,500 CEOs, all the lessons that I've learned, all the sales lessons, strategy lessons, competitive lessons, all those lessons, I want to point something out. The fact that I am so present in the online world, the fact that I am a TV host, I'm interviewing so many people, literally, I'm contacting between 15 to 30 people every single week that they all have something in common. They have a business or they have an experience that talks about human potential. So what I mean is, all those stories, all these people, all their testimonials, all their lessons are going to be all available for you, because my lessons are Jeff's lessons, and all those lessons, all these people, we are consistently going to be attracting them, bringing them on board.
Yes.
For our, Tap into Your Genius world. So again, I'm blessed with having, the exposure that I have, but I am absolutely humbled by it. I'm having chills right now, and the reason is because it's just my mission in life. I have to bring all these people that are doing amazing things in the world, I have to bring them, in this case, to our membership site, so they are all contributing to your development, to your awakening of your genius, because we all have a genius inside of us.
Okay, thank you, Angel, very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, we'll be talking again soon, even tomorrow. We'll be talking about vision and purpose. I have some interesting people, entrepreneurs who've started their own companies, have taken chances, and so we'll be talking about that tomorrow. So thank you for all stopping in. Thank you, Angel, for being a guest again.
Pleasure, please.
Okay?
Anytime.
Until next time, guys, we'll see you. Okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye.